And then we were live. Boys and girls, welcome back, everyone, to We'll Work for Recovery's Attitude for Gratitude.
Right on.
Yo! I'm all excited. We'll Work for Recovery's Attitude for Gratitude. And you can see all this. You see there's Paul, and there's Sammy, there's Tim, and there's Nicholas. Nick's off camera for the time being, so I'll turn that off. Tonight we do already apologize because internet, we're working on it. That's where kind of there's been some hiccups with internet and making sure you guys get a clear show. I'm not sure how it's looking on your end with the video even right now. Fingers are crossed. If this doesn't come through well, we'll get Paul back on and we'll go over the story. Hopefully we get him and Carolyn on at the same time, and we will eventually.
Yeah.
We'll get this going the way we wanted. 3 weeks ago we did the kickoff, and then I was in a major accident on my motorcycle the following Saturday, and it was bad. So there was no show. And now I'm here, alive, and I'm lucky. So that's where the show has been for the last few weeks. Was I was in a major motorcycle accident, and everyone was doing the recovery. Everyone showed up for me. People reached out. It was crazy. Everyone at this table knows about it. People out there in listening land, basically. We went to that big Jim's benefit ride, and that ended out by like St. Cloud kind of, and then I was heading over to Danbury on County Road 20, Minnesota 23. Highway Patrol told me, because I don't recollect much of it. I was doing about 60, and a minivan from out of state pulled in front of me at sunset, so there's whatever. I didn't see them, they didn't see me. They got cited with failure to yield, which let me know that wasn't my fault, because like I said, I lost time and space, whatever. So I hit them going about 60, and they airlifted me down to North Memorial. As you can see though, I got my looks back. But it was really scary. So like I said, I lost that whole day for the most part. I don't recollect much of it. There was a lot of road rash, not a single broken bone, no swelling of the brain, no blood on the brain. Don't recall much of that night. I woke up and like Samantha was at the hospital, Rob was there, my girl was there, Dustin showed up, like people that just showed up out of the blue. I didn't know anyone was coming up there, and hundreds of people reached out. So everyone listening, everyone who reached out, like I'm grateful for you guys. Thank you guys. Like that helped save my life. And man, I tell you what, there is a higher power out there, and that's who stepped in and saved my life. So nice. I'm grateful for that. I promised multiple people I would talk about this. I don't see myself as some miracle, but I know a miracle happened. I'm here to talk about an accident most people don't get to talk about because they're dead. I know, too. How many people in the last 3 years that we buried on motorcycles? You know what I always think about is that I always have this picture that pops up. There's you, me, Carolyn, Ruddy was there, but it's not about him. I don't even know his name. The dude, he ended up living back in Monticello. Big dude. Got in an accident, lost his legs.
Oh, Dale, yeah.
I think about that shit. And that was
talked to him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, like, dude, we ride motorcycles. Shit like that happens.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't my fault. I wasn't speeding. I don't think he was doing something crazy. It's like, shit happens. Like, this is what happens. And fucking higher power came through on that one. So,
one of my favorites, beyond the purpose, on purpose, for purpose. And, it's still got purpose to it.
Freaks me out when I think about it. It's like, I have a purpose here. And it puts some weight on your shoulders when you realize that statement. And it's like, I'm grateful for it though. I really am. Like, I gotta step it up. In a way, you start feeling that way. But I get to step it up. All right, enough of that. So we're at We'll Work for Recovery. This is where recovery happens. I'm a product of We'll Work for Recovery. We didn't really get much into my side of things with We'll Work for Recovery a couple weeks back when we kicked this off. And unfortunately, we weren't able to just keep rolling. So more than likely, once Carolyn comes back, we're gonna have another like kickoff show. Plus, we're dealing with some internet stuff. We're just getting this podcast going back here. It kind of falls on me. I didn't have this prepared with the internet stuff, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm seeing viewership is looking okay right now, and if you guys are hearing some funny stuff or videos not matching up, just message me, text me. As always, like if you're out there tonight and you're hearing my voice and you're struggling, like just stick around. Come up to We'll Work for Recovery, 2520 North 2nd Street. Every day of the week there's a meeting. 6:30 a.m. there's meetings all week. Weekend, there's morning meetings as well, but what's that, 7 a.m. or?
Monday through Saturday,
Yes.
Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m.
Yeah.
We just started a 1 o'clock in the afternoon meeting
Nice.
last week, so I can use some help.
Right. We need,
on
yeah, the
those.
support. But basically, here's another spot I'm talking to you guys about. Like I said, I'm a product of this place. There's meetings here every single day. We talk about 2218. We talk about Serenity Village. We talk about New Hope, Alano. Anywhere that we find recovery, we talk about on here. Like, there's no corner on this stuff. And We'll Work for Recovery is a place I stand behind, and this is the place we're doing the show from now. And I'm blessed to be able to do this. This is awesome. The support here is amazing. So again, if you're struggling, like, you're worth the fight, so just reach out, do what you got to do for yourself. I found out the hard way with a lot of this stuff, like, you got to be your own advocate, but you also got to be one who wants it. So if you want it, you're looking at 4 miracles right now on camera that stuck it out. And there's a guy wearing the couch there. He's a miracle too. He just doesn't want to get in there. William! So let's get cracking in this. Hey, P, who are you?
I'm Paul, an alcoholic and addict.
Hey, Paul, who are you?
Hi, Paul. I'm Samantha. I'm at it.
It's Samantha. Go ahead.
I'm Nick, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Nick.
Nick. So, as I was telling you guys before, Carolyn, she shared a little bit about it, but she did hold a lot of it back because she was like, I want Paul to tell that side of the story. So everyone who got to hear her marvelous story on air, and if you've been down here, you've heard it hundreds of times. She went into detail on it, but also she started telling us about how the center got started, the vision, but she was like, I can't go any further about that. That's Paul's story to tell.
Really?
Yeah, I know I put her on the spot with the camera and all that, but if you don't mind, would you want to just tell us about We'll Work for Recovery and like how it came about and the vision and this, that, and the third?
I'd love to. I'll tell you what, it was a vision.
Want a water?
Huh?
Want something to drink?
I'm good, thank you.
All right.
So it was absolutely a vision. We talked about motorcycle accidents. Also blessed to survive a high-speed chase on a motorcycle. Busted just about everything. It's not a good thing. But the good thing is for the first time in my life during that chase, right before I crashed, I said, God, you get me out of this one. And lo and behold, in the hospital, this, that, and everything, I certainly had this vision and this knock on the old noggin and said, this is what you're going to do, this is your purpose, this is how you're going to do it. And I had this supervision, man. It was extremely heavy. In fact, I'm going to give you the professional story.
That's what we want.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what we want.
Because I'm not a professional.
That's perfect.
Paul, I'm an alcoholic and addict.
That's what we do.
So anyhow, yeah, I had this vision, this weird awakening, man, and it was like, this ain't me, man. I don't know if I can do this. But like I said, be careful what you ask for, you might get it. Gosh, I don't even know where to start. It's kind of a long story, but I'll just start with, like I said, I had this vision, woke up kind of like going, wow, man, not me. Just not ready for this. I don't really want to do this.
You're talking about like recovery? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you came through, I'm sorry I'm going to be doing this up. When you came through in the hospital, like, you're talking about, this wasn't just some scratches. Like, tell us a little bit about those injuries, because you always skim over that, and like I've heard like stroke or something on the bike or.
I had a stroke, had this broken
While
neck,
riding?
Yeah.
Okay, broken neck, like
I don't know when I had it.
You just skim right over that, like broken neck, a hangnail, a broken neck, a stroke. A lot of shit happened when you're on this high-speed chase. Like,
I can tell you this, I really don't know what happened, other than I crashed and woke up and had this vision while I was out.
and then you're like, shit, I'm not ready to. I don't feel like I want to do recovery yet.
I gotta be honest with you, it's like I said, my biggest thing was that I'm not the one. It wasn't that I didn't want to do it, I just felt that I was not the one. And a lot of things entailed afterwards. Like I said, it's a long story. And I want to get to the picture that standing We'll Work for Recovery that solidified, and there's no denying that it was a spiritual awakening, and that my higher power, being God, was speaking to me and said, "You are me." So this picture that I have down here was like part of this vision and this dream, nightmare, call it what you want. I like to always point out the picture. It's like this 3D picture that's in the middle of the room. And so when I decided to get this thing put together and start doing this, I said I got to find some artwork, and get some pictures, and get some cool stuff. And lo and behold, I got on the marketplace, and right away I saw this picture that was in this dream, and it was identical to it. It was a 3D picture, and I mean, you don't see a whole lot of them. So like I'm saying, it was almost a little scary. I'm like, oh man, this is real.
I never heard that 3D picture one.
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
hear about that.
That's the only, I mean, that's what keeps me going, is that this is not, this is for real.
This is ordained.
That's not a coincidence. I've never seen a picture like it. Didn't think I'd ever see one like it, and sure enough. And anyhow, so I got a marketplace, asked the lady, this actually says it's pending pickup. I'm like, man, I gotta have that picture, I'll pay you this, and she's like, well, I can't really do that, and she lived in Eden Prairie. And sure enough, I'm mad texting her back for it. Sold. She texted me back, said they didn't show up. I flew out to Eden Prairie and got the picture, and just built around that picture. Like I said, there's this is too long of a story to kind of get into.
No, it's not.
I'm just kind of like,
Clip notes.
I hope you get the idea, and I just built this around here that God has, placed 90% of this stuff in the center in my life, and it just happens. I just stay out of the way, man. Just know, and that's why I use that. Everybody has a purpose on here. There's for a purpose, because you made it clear that I have a purpose. And it's unfortunate I didn't get this till I was 50 years old. I got my driver's license when I was 15 or 16. I didn't get it back till I was 50. And I drove all my life. Just like event after event, blessing after blessing just started happening. There's just no denying what was going on. Because like I said at the beginning of the story, my biggest thing was, I ain't the one. I'm just not the one. And it really tugged and pulled on me. And it's still does today. What am I doing?
And you get like what, 13 or 14 years? So the you and Carolyn meeting story, she said we'll do that when we're together on the air, which I respect that. I'm gonna kind of dissect it a little. I know you told us it, but so you get out of the hospital, you have this vision. I know that there's a part where Carolyn said you guys did, you guys linked up and you talked about this vision with her, right?
Yeah.
And then that, you went on to this picture, but then how does the center come about? You talk to her about it?
Yeah, it is kind of cool, because another thing that was really there's just no denying that, something was going on. Because, I had this vision for a long time, but it had to be almost 2.5 years of thinking about this and wondering how it's all going to come together in this. And I was in a relationship, and it failed. It didn't work out. We parted. God bless this program. We made civil and stuff like that. So just another blessing of this program. But anyhow, and then I met Carolyn, and it was like, she's the one. She's
love at first sight type of deal?
Yeah. I met her on a ride and followed her the whole time, just
on a motorcycle ride.
Yeah, she was on the back of somebody else's bike,
Nick,
and I was just
you want
like,
to
man,
hit the
I
power
wonder if
button?
she's with this dude, and we sat next to each
Far
other
left.
at this chicken place. I believe it's in Greenland, so right outside of that. But I just kept thinking, she's the one. This is the one, man. And I think it was our first date. I mentioned to her about what I would like to do and what happened, and I was very skeptical about sharing that, because I just, I guarded it pretty tightly.
Yeah.
And she was down with the same thing, and we just kind of hit it off real good, and just started talking about this stuff. And she says, "Let's do it." And I was, man,
gung-ho.
It's time. Let's do it. And that's kind of how it happened.
It's the things kept falling into place for this to happen.
And it's rather hard to explain, because like I said, man, this was not of my doing, man. I kind of I'm not the one, man. Why? I use that statement quite a bit, is that, it's not the profound shit we say, it's the profound shit we do.
Right.
And I had to do a lot of stuff that was pretty profound to get where I'm at today, that wasn't always in, my best liking. You all right?
Yeah, no, for some reason there's static, and we're getting feedback from people saying it's static. Who knows?
Yeah.
No.
So just like I said, man, it's kind of a long, drawn-out story. One thing led to another, man, and there's just no denying it. I just had to stay out of the way and keep following suit. And I'll tell you what, man, the only thing I run around here is my mouth. Carolyn is like, she has put this thing together, the paperwork, the stuff. You know, I just ask her how, why, when, stuff like that. And I am just, like I said, I just had this vision, this idea of a place, and this is where she'll correct me, is because, like I said, the unprofessional side is, listen, it was just a place for addicts and alcoholics to hang out, have a safe place to go, safe environment. We'll have some meetings, we'll kick it, we'll watch TV. It's all set up like a house, plants, you know, just goofy stuff to get comfortable, man. I'll even say, you know, it's really not a place, not a home group material. You know, it's a great place to get started and get uncomfortable, because we make getting uncomfortable fun, I believe. You know, and again, this was not my idea, that was his, man. You know, and a good friend of mine, Sam, I just want to plug Sam, at a meeting one time said, listen, he was getting a medallion, he says, listen, I'm not going to tell you what I did, I'm going to tell you what he did. And I felt the same way. It's because I didn't do this, man. God keeps doing it, man. My higher power. Because like I said, I struggle with the fact that I'm not the one, man. I'm just I'm not the guy, you know, and he keeps telling me, you are the guy and you will be the guy. And so things just keep working themselves out, man. Financially, everything. We struggled for a long time, man, a long time. To be exact, probably 5.5 years, and we're in our 6th year. So
financially,
things have picked up quite a bit. I'm sitting with a couple people that have made that happen also. You know, we don't do this alone. We do this, you know, together and supporting each other, and that's how this has all went down, man. I don't know what else to say. I just, I'm just the messenger, or the pigeon, or whatever you want to call it, man. I just keep listening and saying, okay, man. And like I say, sometimes I really don't want to do this. You know, I really kind of struggle with it. You know, I still think about getting high. I still think about drinking. And I think anybody that says they don't, I kind of would like to question that, because I have fleeting thoughts. I don't desire to obsess about it at all. That has been lifted, but I still have them thoughts of like, I can smell weed in a car 5 cars away at a stoplight and be, damn. You know, so them are just the thoughts, you know what I'm saying? I can watch a good damn commercial, a dripping bottle of a Corona on the beach, you know, Snoop Dogg, and damn, you know, but I do not have that desire or obsession to drink or die.
Fleeting thoughts,
man. It's just like, this stuff is way too good. It's been a blessing for me. There's no denying what he's done in my life, you know, and the biggest blessing that I can relate to is that, I've got a conscience, man, and that's conscience, and that's kind of the biggest thing, because I didn't have one of them before. You know, doing the wrong thing was the right thing for me, and now doing the right thing is the right thing for me.
Well, there was
I don't do it perfectly.
No, but
I give it a hell of a shot.
When we were out of town, you said something to me that, like, I've regurgitated it so many times to people. It was like this epiphany that when you said it, it clicked for me. We were talking about, like, this other type of group of people and this other lifestyle, and like how outrageous that type of living was. Like these other, you know, this is our past lives and the shit we used to do. And you're like, this is my new club. Like, this is my, it fucked me up. Like, I never brought this up to you, but I thought about that for days. That whole ride home, I like, every half hour I was thinking about, I was like, yeah, this is my new club. We're crazy dumbasses. We do lunatic shit and we bad decisions. Like, but this is my new club. Like, this is what I'm claiming.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is a fact, and that's what I've kind of internalized and accepted, that this is my new club wherever I go. I'm in AA. I'm in NA.
That's my new patch.
That's
the best way. Like, and not to say, oh, that's my patch, but you know, a guy like you understands it, and people listening, like, I tried to explain this so many times to someone at a meeting or something. I'm like, no, this is my new club. Like, this is, I represent NAA. And like the Tim from 10 years ago would have been like,
I support 24.
Yeah, 247. What? Yeah, but I wanted to bring that up and thank you about that because it was like it gave me this other look on it about because that's a lot of people are torn from that past life to this one.
Mhm.
Like I want to be clean, but there's a lot of things I still do or enjoy, and it's like no, this is I got to do this all the time, and this is what I do. This is this new life. I'm glad you got in a fucking high speed chase and seized out on your bike or whatever, broke your neck.
Mhm.
Because without that shit, this shit doesn't happen.
Well, I appreciate it, and there's some truth to that. I mean, like
You know
I
what
said,
I mean.
I just wasn't the one. I didn't want to be the one, and like I said, I just couldn't deny the fact from the picture to just stuff that was happening, and I struggled with. This is just a coincidence. This is just. But I'll tell you what, man. When you get woke, I ended up writing a bunch of this poetry / rhyme things that just really opened my spiritual awakenings and experiences that just kind of like there's just there's no, you know, I tried stuff and just it doesn't happen. It's very difficult because the saddest part is that I don't think they ever see me sober. You know, that's all they ever prayed about, wanted this, that, and the other thing. It was, you know, actually my whole family. You know, so that's something that you know I stay clean for too. Is that's what they've always wanted. I'm just going to say stuff. You know, I get kind of because, like I said, all I have to do is stay out of the way, man, and just keep listening.
Usually the way of ourselves.
You know, because I can still make some stupid ass decisions. You know.
Did you have a higher power before all this?
No, I think I could share something that I'm not proud of, but I'll tell you what, it's part of my story.
Yeah.
Is that as a child, you know, I was born and raised Catholic, went to church, and as a kid, I tried burning the church down because I didn't want to go to church.
That's her way out.
You know,
Like calling in a bomb threat to school because I don't want to go to school. You tried to burn her down.
Oh, I did that before too, because I didn't want to school. You know, and you talk about, you know, I'll never be forgiven for that. That was my biggest and best excuse. God has got nothing to do with me, you know. And
Oh, that was your out. That was your
my
excuse.
Yeah, and you know, on top of many other things that, like I said, the most important part of this program is, man, we don't regret the past or forget it, you know.
Or shut the door on it.
Or shut the door on it. And I say this quite often in these meetings too. It's like, listen, you know, people can't forgive themselves. Well, I mean, you might as well start because it wasn't you. You know, it wasn't you. You were, I'll speak for myself. I was either chasing drugs, on drugs, or, you know, still hungover.
Right.
I don't think I've ever committed a crime sober or not chasing drugs.
Chasing
or
dope.
trying-
Yeah.
so
100%.
it just wasn't, this is who I am, you know. Like I said, I don't do it perfectly. I'm not, no saint, you know, but I do this to the best of my ability, man. I stay as willing as possible, and I use that word quite often too. As I say, the soldier story, you know. This soldier ain't gonna keep you clean, but your willingness will. You know, just to stay willing, man, you know, and then I find ways to go about it. So I mean, like I said, I just love this program, what it has to offer, and I wanna make sure that I share this simple fact that I used to hate all them one-liners, those little quotes, those little sayings.
Like
I
what?
used to-
What do you mean?
Oh, one day at a time, let go, let God, you know, all those,
Trust the
just those,
process.
Yeah.
all those little things that people would say, you know, I'd be like, yeah, whatever, man, you know? And you know, something dawned on me as I started internalizing that stuff, man, and I'll tell you what, the one simple fact, the little simple quote that everybody can agree with is that the truth hurts. And I'll tell you what, it dawned on me that that's why I didn't like them, because they were the truth.
That's
And
good.
now I just internalize them really one-liners, man, and just live by them, you know, and I can give you, you know, just a few of them that is whether he is or he isn't, man. When I'm God conscious, things are better. When I'm not, I'm kicking rocks and bitching, complaining.
And I've used that too because
You know,
after
so-
you shared that, multiple people have brought that up. Like, that's spot on. Like, when I don't have him, Bob S., he's like, if I don't have him on the forefront,
Yeah.
my days are going bad.
When God seems far away, ask yourself who moved. How many people do you hear? Oh, God, you know, that's because you moved. He didn't. You know, I just, like I said, that's what I love about this program, is listening to newcomers, listening to people, what they got to say, how they got to say it, when they got to say it, why they got to say it, and it's just like, just internalizing that stuff. I just love it, you know. And, one of my favorites, Jordan, another friend of mine, said in a meeting one time, she says, "Why get clean if you're going to live like you're using?" It's all in my phone. I could, you know, if
You have all those one-liners.
I have my phone is filled with stuff that people said. And one of my favorites that I made up was spread the wealth, and that's what I do, man. When somebody says something like that, I share it in a meeting. They're not mine,
Right.
you know, they're ours. You know, and when somebody shares it, it wasn't theirs, it was ours.
Right.
You know, so that's kind of where I just am with the whole program, the whole process, is that, man, every day I just try to get better and better and better, you know.
When we talk about pedestals, and like, I know with Dustin Oates, and Rob H, he's good about like, don't put me on a pedestal. It's really uncomfortable for him. But the reason I bring that up is with you, I know a lot of people, and whether you agree or not, it happens. A lot of people look up to you here. Newcomers come in, they see you like, that's this cool dude. You know what I'm saying? It happens.
My air conditioner is cool, Tim.
Listen, so I'm going somewhere with this. Paul. Is like, so all that happens, and like, you're looked up to. You know, you're the guy who got this thing started. It's your vision, and a lot of people get behind it, and it's a badass vision. Like, it makes people comfortable, especially newcomers. I was one of them. It was nice to walk into here after walking into a crusty ass, old, nasty, yellow-walled, blank-ass recovery room. For me. I'm talking for me, not the way other people are seeing it. And you come in here and you see Harleys on the walls and Marilyn Monroe neon signs and Kramer, and you see some cool, interesting shit, and it makes you want to come back. Like, but
Well, that's the idea, ain't it?
yeah, no, it is. And you're always big about, like, we do this 5 o'clock meeting here on Wednesdays. Any man is welcome to come in. There's also a women's meeting. It's called, crosstalk at 5 o'clock.
At 5 o'clock.
Yeah. And it's a group of guys that hold each other accountable. That's how I always, like, don't come there thinking like someone's not going to hold you accountable, because they're going to. Like, you come in and say, I'm working on getting my license back. Someone's going to say, well, what are you doing to get your license back? Shit like that. People hold the, go ahead. No.
Let's share the opening,
Yeah, go ahead.
Our statement is that if it doesn't apply, let it fly. Don't take anything personal.
Yep.
And 90% of the time, somebody's like, I don't take nothing personal, before you know it, they're
They're heading to the door. And because, like you said, the truth hurts. And it's not that we're there to call someone out. Like, you'll talk to people that say it like I do. I'm a product of this place. It's because someone didn't let me just spit out some bullshit. They didn't co-sign my shit. When I said I was doing something, the next week they said, so how did that go? What did you do to get that done? We network. The same shit I talk about at the show. Like, if there's a good meeting, put it in the chat. Put it in these chats, or tell us about it. Like, these are meetings we talk about, we share about. This, he said it. I don't own these statements. They're ours. Just like these meetings.
Yeah.
God, I was going somewhere about putting you on that pedestal thing. But
before you put me on the pedestal, put God on the pedestal, because like I said, and I always say it over and over again, I am not the one, man. God is, and He put this stuff in my life, and I'm just taking the orders, man. So thank God, not Paul.
you know what? I think it came out wrong, because it wasn't like I was over here getting you like. Whatever. It was a deal where about one of these things that you said, just like, this is my new club. Yeah. Like you say, it's like these statements aren't mine. These are ours. Like,
that's right.
And the same thing about, you're like, I used to always knock this bullshit one day at a time. Now we have them hanging everywhere in the center,
right
from the
on.
ceiling down. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks for sharing.
Or this right there. Tell us about that sign.
We'll work for recovery. I made that. That's our very first sign when we started out at the church. And it has a very special meaning to me, because, like I said, that's where it all started. And that's another vision it was going to be. It's called We'll Work for Recovery, man, because that's what we do. We work for this stuff. People will come in and say, here's my card. I need to get this card signed. I say, well, you got to fill it out. I can sign it. You got to do the work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a simple thing like that, So.
Well, what do we do at the beginning of every meeting here when there's 100 people? We start the meeting, and before we even get going into it, about what do we talk about? When we have a bunch of people, before we start the meeting, we make sure everyone has a way home.
Oh yeah,
and we stop the meeting and say, does everyone have a ride home? And if not, people raise their hand, other people like, all right, where are you going? I'm going that way, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's what we do. We work, but we speak up for it. There's no phone list. Why?
Because we work for our recovery.
Yeah.
Mouth don't get fed.
Closed mouths don't get fed. Like, that's what's up. That's part of this. I'm glad that I got you to come on, like, share about your vision, and you will come back on with Carolyn and tell it together again, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I want to share with everybody here, and it kind of because I was sharing and you said,
Free. Yeah, where did we that just came up too, but
it was kind of a good little statement because it's true.
thank you, audience, for bearing with us. We're doing a bunch of new things here, and like close-ups and videos and this and that.
Oh.
No, I know, no. I got multiple cameras right now. Yeah, don't pick your nose. But but Paul, thank you for like telling us about that, and you're not going nowhere. I'm not letting you off the hook. We're just getting Samantha involved here.
Nice.
Because talk to us, girl. Who are you? What's
I
up?
said who I was.
Yeah, well, say it
Samantha,
again.
I'm an addict.
Right
Yeah.
on, Samantha.
Tell us about yourself. What's up?
Um,
Everything. Come on. What are you doing in life today? How long you been in recovery? Give us a 5-minute who are you story.
so I just celebrated 8 years on
Nice.
Sunday.
Oh, wait. No. There we go.
Love it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. What am I doing? I've been doing a lot of working.
Yeah, I'm going to hop in right now and say, elaborate on what you're talking about right before this. So, like, I know nothing about what you're doing. I thought you were doing something with eyelashes and helping with the dog thing. No, I'm serious. I didn't know that you're involved with anything with, like, street ministry. Like, tell us about all this good stuff you've been up to. You guys all know Samantha. She's been on the show multiple times, right? Once or twice.
4 times.
For
Who's
multiple.
counting?
Hey, we have only superstars on here. But anyone who wants to come on the show, reach out, and you're more than welcome to come down here and be on. So go ahead. What have you been up to?
So I run Sober Living.
Okay.
We operate 37 houses for Change Place Sober Living. That's pretty much what I do right now.
Okay.
I actually just showed up for my clean time Wednesday and kind of had to admit to everyone, like, I feel like a little bit of a hypocrite because I have not been in the meetings like I should have. A really wise man who comes to these meetings told me back at PIG, he's like, you don't want to be like one of those people who come to the program, all of the promises start coming true for you. You get the job you want, you get the boyfriend or the girlfriend you want, you get the house, you get all these things, and then you kind of just disappear, and they call that stealing from the program.
Ooh.
And
Ooh.
it's been hitting me since PIG, like that's what I've done. 5 years ago when I walked into this place, when Will Work was on the other side of the building, I remember Carolyn used to bust her butt every day,
Yeah.
come and cook food for us.
Yep.
And like,
Oh, yeah.
that was a hook, line, and sinker for me. I'm like, what, free food?
Yeah.
And I get to sit in these comfy couches,
Yeah.
There was like a little bit of tug and pull for me, but it saved me. Like I was forced to come here because of ISR.
Right.
I got out, I was on ISR, and
What is ISR?
it's intense supervised release.
Okay, you get that after treatment?
If you do the
that
CIP
after
program in prison,
Okay.
you have, if you're smart, you have a year of ISR.
Okay.
I was a bit of a knucklehead, so I had 2 years of ISR.
Okay.
But it was what I needed.
I might ask some questions that seem
Yeah.
commonsensical to us, but some listeners might not know, so just bear with me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So
It's me. I don't know.
So I walked in here, and after kind of getting out of my own way and thinking that all the women in here had to come and approach me and make me a part of their group, hence Will Work for Recovery. I had to work to get to know these women.
Right.
I got super involved, and over the years, I think I showed up for everything I could while on ISR. I would come to speak-a-thons, I would come to our New Year's Eve jams, I would do everything.
Frank and Teddy, and dude, there was always some.
Speak-a-thon, I forgot
Yeah,
about
it
that's a good
was
one.
so much fun.
Yeah.
I would come to the barbecues, I would do all of that.
We had
And then-
flamethrowers in the parking lot a couple times.
Yeah.
Jerry's kid.
Right,
Yeah.
We did so much.
We still do so much.
We
I
do,
just,
but-
you're talking about the early days. Yep,
Yes,
yep.
But now, like, you know, we just did a hot tub meeting fellowship for women last night at my building because I was
Awesome.
like, I need to get involved again. I'm really,
Nice.
I'm slacking. I don't know. And I, again, got a guilty conscience last night because the women were talking about like what's going on and who's doing what. And I'm like, wow, like,
Quick pause. She literally saves lives on a daily. I love you, Sam. Thank you so much for helping me create a new path for my life. That's from just some random listener. Not random, Jessica. I appreciate you, but this comes in. Like, I get multiple. No, to like when people come on and say I only have X amount of time or whatever, I stop them and they try like 24 hours. We all know is a miracle,
That's right.
and that's all we have.
World record.
World record,
Yeah.
baby. So last night you're getting in your feels, thinking what?
like I've just disappeared. Like I was saying, I was so involved in the program, and I've said this to women, like, had I not got involved in the program and got to know like this community the way that I have, I would never have the job I have. I wouldn't have the degrees I have. I wouldn't have the community that I have. And the second I got those things, you know, I stepped away.
But not really. Listen, let me just put some into perspective on the other side of this, like devil's advocate, as the good host I am.
So nice, Timmy.
But like, it took you how long to figure out recovery? 5 years. Okay. How long have you been a responsible member of society and adulting and doing all this? Like, you're just getting that part from recovery. Like, there's a transition where you still got to figure that side of shit out. I'm just cutting you some slack. Like, you didn't turn your back on recovery. Like you said, I say this all the time, every aspect of my life, recovery touches it. My job, my girlfriend, my vehicle, my motorcycles, everything I have, my fishing, everything I have and enjoy, except for my parents, recovery touches it. Tell me that's not how it is in your life.
That is accurate. However, I think working in the recovery field, a lot of times we trick ourselves to believe, like,
I get it.
I work in recovery all day. I deal with
Right.
my clients. I do this. Like, I don't need to show up to a meeting. For me, it was a lot of my clients do come to Will Work for
Right,
recovery.
right.
Because I suggested, I'm like, this meeting saved my life. Go check it out.
Yeah.
But then I've used that as a crutch. Like, oh, I can't really go and share.
I get
can't,
it.
You know,
I get it.
I can't do that because my clients are there. I can't open up. But it's
But you're holding yourself accountable right now by
Yes.
saying this.
Yes, I
You
am.
know you are.
I
Because
am.
now you know what you gotta do not to let that be a reason anymore. And like, I wanted to bring that up to Paul too, like cause now you become kind of full-time here, and like, where does that end up? Like, have you said it, not to take the story away from her, has there been a talk of like, if this becomes a hassle or a headache for me, it's gotta change, or has that even came up in your head? Because if you make this 24/7 for you, doesn't it become a job? Or
Listen, if this doesn't come first, everything I love is coming last, so.
I was gonna write it down and put it
I
out.
just stay plugged in, man. Like I said, look for reasons to like this stuff instead of excuses to split or I will.
Right.
So I just stay focused on what it's done for me, like you said, you know, where it began and how I love listening to newcomers, man, when they're just coming up, you know, just saying, oh, this, that, you just,
I always say,
Remember.
is it dope getting any better out there? Is it getting funner out there? Like,
you know what's really unfortunate is that they don't think you know any better.
no,
You
yeah.
have no idea, okay.
Yeah, like,
Okay.
like, no, I wasn't out running gunning for 20 years.
Right.
Didn't sit in jail. Didn't,
Okay.
yeah. So you're in the hot tub, getting in your feels. Did you share with the girls like, no, I still feel like shitty, or what do you do to get yourself out of that stuff?
No, I did. I held myself accountable, and I asked the women, you know, like, you guys, I need you to hold me accountable. We're going to start a group chat. A good friend of all of ours, Dusty, kind of gave me some pointers this morning, and he was like, this is what we do. Like,
Yep.
try this out. And I've been reaching out to some people that have some clean time, and I'm like, I just need to be held accountable. I'm really lucky in a lot of areas of my life. Like, people seem to think I have it all together, and I always joke, and I'm like, no, I have a Nick. Like, Nick kind of holds my life together. He balances a lot of the stuff that makes me look like an adult.
That
like I'm
young man
adulting
right
really
there.
well. So, like, in the recovery aspect, I need to lean on more women. Like, most people know Rob is my best friend. He's great at every day, like, when's the last time you've been to a meeting? What are you doing for yourself? Are you working your steps? Are you doing this? But because he cares about me so much, it's very easy to kind of be...
He holds you accountable but doesn't beat you up over it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think telling the women that I needed more accountability, I needed to be called out when people didn't see me for a week at a time. I was told back in the day, in the program, your sponsor had your address, and if you fell off, they would show up in a white van and they would kidnap you.
Yep.
And I was like, why don't we do that now?
Wow, same reason they don't shave half your mustache off and put you in
Yeah, man.
underwear and a dunce cap.
I left out all the Eden House stories.
Yes, you did.
Wow.
That just still blows my mind back. Today, you can't get away with that. No, you just can't.
You
There's,
know, Real quick, I do want to share an eating house story, and this is one that saved my life, and that where things change is that, there's an accountability thing at eating house to where you had to log people for whether you had your shirt untucked or just stupid stuff, Actually was so stupid, but people used to bring me all that stuff to your line, and I don't give a shit, just mind your own business,
Right.
And before you know it, again, I had this thing that, listen, man, I got to do the right thing. So I got on the log book, or the log thing, and started holding people accountable. And I got everybody in the same room and said, listen, the next MF that brings me any stupid shit, I'm telling on you. And they're like, yeah, bro, okay, yeah. And within less than 24 hours, every room I walked into, everybody would say, see that dude right there, he'll tell on you. And I was just like, that's right. So the only people that were messing with me were people that were doing the right thing, man.
Right.
And it all of a sudden became a habit that,
Right.
hey, man, I'm holding you accountable, bro, because I care about you.
That's that stick with the winners thing. Like,
So,
that's yeah. There's a lot of stories you brought up, like the eating house stuff, and no, things have changed, but
I love eating house.
Thank you. I remember I used to peel my wig back before COVID. Every whatever Tuesday or whatever it was, you'd go there and bring socks.
yeah.
Like before they started strapping down, like I don't know. That to me that's awesome. Like, and now you're starting to get back into the prisons and going to visit prisons or starting the process on that.
Yeah, I go second and fourth Thursday every month, Lino right now.
Voluntarily walking into prisons, you are.
Yeah.
That's this new club we're in. That's crazy. To me, it's just like, what?
Hey, the sock deal and the 24-hour, just a little heads up, I got it written on my chalkboard at home. I think I bought like 440 some 24 hours a day books at Eden House.
Yeah, because you deliver those too there, right?
Yeah. I personally buy them and give them to, somebody in a pair of socks.
Yeah. It's miracle shit. Like you're saying, that's step 12 stuff all day. We give this back. We give what was given to us, or is what we fought for. All right, so Samantha, what are you doing moving forward? And you ask these girls, I'm like, we didn't just slide away from you.
Oh, but Paul was hacking.
Yeah, no, it's done.
No, so I did. Like, I made a conscious effort to invite the ladies over, and it's like, we're going to do this every week. Thursdays at 6 p.m. If there are any women that are struggling, we meet at Marquette Place Luxury Apartments. We sit in the hot tub. We actually just got affirmation pong. It's similar to beer pong, but it's affirmations that we'll be doing.
So if you make the pong, you get to do an affirmation, or you drink what or what?
Yeah, if you make the ball in, they're like little floating things that go in the pool. It's like, it was beer pong, but I was
Yeah.
like, that'd be really cool to do on the sober end. Affirmation for women, because we beat ourselves up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an affirmation in the cup. You make it, like you have an affirmation about yourself or the closest person
That's
to
awesome.
you. So we're
Yeah.
going to be doing that every Thursday at 6 o'clock.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I just made a conscious effort, like I need to get back involved because I need this program just as much as I did the day that I got out today. So I'm gonna get more involved in the recovery program, kind of try and take a step back from work and not work 24/7 to the point where like I'm just exhausted. Even though I love my job, I love what I do, I get to help people every day, but
What is it that you do? You said you work in the recovery community, and I heard pallets of free stuff. And what do you do?
I am the program director for Change Place Sober Living, which still feels a little weird to say because I don't feel like I'm the one. Like I definitely feel like I'm not.
Isn't that funny how that works? You just kind of, why?
I am not qualified for this job,
Right.
but I get reminded constantly that I am. Like I get to bring a different aspect into my sober housing when a lot of people, they don't meet their program director. The program director doesn't show up to do their intake and say like, hey, I just want you to know that every person I hire on staff has a background in addiction. And it's not something they read in a book. This is people who have lived these lives
Have the
that you've
experience,
lived.
yeah.
You know, like, so we can relate with you. I do a lot of things in my houses that some people might not agree with. You know, I'm not a zero tolerance house. If you mess up and you come and tell me like, hey, I made a mistake, chances are I'm going to send you to detox depending on what you did, or we're going to sit down and talk about it, have a relapse plan, come up with some sort of plan. And sometimes it's not only one time I allow people to mess up. Like if you're working a program and you're trying to get your life together, I want to help save your life. Like I think I heard it the first time here in this meeting, I think it was Paul that said it, like, you know, we need to be that hand that reaches back down when there's another addict in that pit. And that's always stuck with me. Like, I want to be that person. So I show up at house meetings, I do all of those things, and I take pride in the fact that, like, my houses are different. You know, I think I am one of the few houses, I allow some of the things that a lot of other houses don't allow. I guess some people could call it a harm reduction, or I don't know how to label it. We're not quite.
I've had 3 shows about harm reduction, so that my audience knows.
You know, something Samantha was just talking about is you know, how you deal with that stuff, chances, this, harm reduction, whatever it may be. Again, man, it's just your call, you know, that this is how we do this.
You can't bullshit a bullshitter.
You have to make that call. Am I enabling these people or am I helping them? You just don't know. You just don't know, man. You know, so.
Well, I got a question for both of you that's going to be a hard one. You probably can understand where I'm about to go with this conversation. With marijuana being legal on the 1st of August.
Oh, we ain't gonna go here.
Yeah. I've had, you don't understand how many people came to me with this question, like, what are we doing? So here, let me also say this. People have asked in the same conversation, well, I get it. Like, they prescribe oxys to people who have surgeries, and now marijuana is legal. Where does the recovery community stand on marijuana? And like I always say, I don't speak for the recovery community. I speak for me when I have my opinion on it. But how does your houses or you guys, is that something you're okay? I should always ask before, like, is there anything we don't want to talk about, but is there any stance on that yet? Or is the directors or anyone even brought this up yet? Or is that cigarettes now? Or I'm serious, like, I don't know.
You started with her.
Yeah. So I do have a completely different stance, and some people won't agree with it, but I like.
Are you out to please them, or yes?
No,
there you go.
Rigorous honesty. So I am all of my houses do allow medical cannabis.
Okay.
Just because it's legal, alcohol is legal, you can't use that in my house.
Right.
But if you have a medical prescription for it, for me, like, some people use Suboxone, some people use methadone, some people use these, and I see it as a crutch. But in my eyes, if you're using medical cannabis to get away from fentanyl, like, use that prescription. Yes. Just like if you're using Suboxone or methadone to get off heroin or fentanyl, like, use that prescription. Don't abuse it. It's highly monitored in our houses. You can have a pill form, you can have your oils, but don't come in my house reeking like you just left a Snoop Dogg concert, because then we're going to have a problem.
Sure.
You know?
I like that, though, how you say that's your take on it, but you like the whole crutch thing, but you also honor someone responsibly. I know to me it sounds like an oxymoron when I'd hear people say, well, the harm reduction shows we've had. There's a guy who came on and said he wants to open up houses and let people slowly wean down shooting heroin. To me, that just doesn't work. I can't just use heroin on Wednesdays. Like, but that's not what he was saying, but that wasn't for me to have to understand. William, where are you going? Okay, all right, because I'm going to put him on the spot. But no, I respect you, like, standing your ground, but also, like I was saying, like, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. You'll know if someone's on some BS.
Well, yeah, we have lab tests. Yes. Like, if you come into my houses and you're like, I've had my medical card for 60 days, okay, we're going to test your levels.
Right.
And during the duration of you being in the house, if all of a sudden your levels are so much higher, now we have an issue.
Yeah, like, honesty, yeah. You hold people accountable to the honesty and all that stuff. So, Mr. B.
Yes, sir.
What are we doing here at the center if someone's out front smoking a blunt?
Samantha, are you done?
I'm done, Paul. I want to hear what you have to say.
I really don't know. I don't know how to answer that, because
it's all good.
It's whatever floats your boat, man. I'm going to tell you this, simply said and briefly said, is that, a clear conscience makes a good pillow. If you're all right with it, then hey, because I'll tell you what, man, I never slept good, and I like sleeping good when I sleep.
Right.
So a clear conscience makes a good pillow. I'm not down with it. I think from methadone to all that stuff should be a 30-day program, 60-day program, something like that, not a 5-year one. Stuff like that, but to each his own, man.
Right.
Like I said, and I really want to hit that home, man, that a clear conscience makes a good pillow. If you ain't all right with it, you might want to think about weaning off it or something like that. Or I just like to be present,
Mm-hmm.
The weed thing, I don't know how we're going to deal with it. Like I said, if you got a medical card, you can smoke the stuff,
It's no different than ciggies. You're not in here smoking, period.
I just don't know how to answer that quite yet, or anything like that. And again, I'll tell you why I don't know how to answer that right yet is because, listen, man, God will answer it for me when it's time. Because if I answer it, I'll say something stupid.
And I wasn't trying to cause no shit. I just had a lot of people asking, and I was like, I'll bring it up. Like, I don't know. It's not, and the people that are asking, none of them smoke. Like, just curiosity.
As Samantha was sharing about how she handles situations that, chances, this, that. Sally, our spiritual counselor down here, told me one time, she says, Paul, there's only 2 power tools you need in this program, and that's compassion and empathy. So, with the whole with all this is, listen, everybody has a different kind of compassion and empathy. It might not be the same as mine.
Right.
So that's kind of the way I'm keeping this going, is that, listen, man, I might not be the most compassionate person about that, or have the most empathy for that, because everybody's got a little different stuff going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you should text your bestie and let him know we're in the middle of a podcast. He knows we are. Jerk. So, who do I
Don't
have?
say that.
Who
You
do I
don't
have
say
over
that.
here? What, jerk?
You don't say that about Rob.
You don't say that. You don't say that. He's not listening. He's busy trying to make phone calls. Dag nabbit. He knows what we're doing, and he knows you're on, and he should have been down here.
He just called me.
Oh, that's probably. Tell him. Oh, I wonder if he's here. Maybe you want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out and try.
All right, cool.
Will's out there, you can let Will know.
Who are you?
I'm Nick. I'm an
Oh, you know what? I had you muted, and now I'm muting Samantha's. We were getting feedback when I have all 4 open, but we're good. Who are you again?
I'm Nick, and I'm an addict.
Prove it. So, how do you know Samantha?
She's my girlfriend, and I met her through recovery. Actually, I met her through Free Grace United.
Okay.
She was volunteering at the
It's a church, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
over in North Minneapolis, right off Lowry. At the time, she had a boyfriend. I was serving community service, and didn't ever think anything of it. We passed and talked, and that was about it. She had a boyfriend, so I kept my distance. And then later on, she had broke up with her boyfriend, and we communicated a couple times. We went out as friends, and I just really enjoyed the person she is, and fell in love with her, and this is where we're
Aww,
Oh,
the
nice.
love story. I love it.
Man, yeah.
So you've been doing this. I haven't had you on the air to tell your story ever, but what you were on an unwanted vacation, got done with your unwanted vacation, and got right into recovery. Is that correct? Was it something like that, or did you get out of jail and come right to recovery, or what was?
Not quite.
Give us a little quick story about you, man.
So,
You okay with
it's a
that?
pretty long story.
Yeah, just break it down. You used, you got
mostly-
clean, or you been
yeah.
in and out of the rooms, and
So most of my life, I started using drugs at 9 years old. Started selling drugs, ran the streets. Grew up with a lot of older brothers and sisters that are all 10 to 15 years older than me. So I ran with their crowd, and obviously they were
running and
doing
gunning.
drugs.
Yeah.
As a kid, my house was constantly being raided, and they were into some bad crowds. So it was like a normal thing to me. It wasn't so when I was running around at 9 years old, it wasn't really
You grow up around this stuff.
Right.
Okay.
So I struggled with addiction for a long time. I obviously still do, but when I was 19 years old or 18 years old, just turning 18, I went to prison for, at the time I was a drug dealer. And
What a quinky dink. You grew up around it, and that became part of your life?
one of my, so one of the kids that, was my associate, shot and killed my best friend. Police questioned me about it, and being as though the background I came from, I wasn't going to say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't, and I wound up going to prison for, 5 years then, just turning 18. So I grew up, spending my life in prison. Got out. I did really good for probably 2-3 years, fell off. Then I started using a lot harder drugs, because that's what, when I came out, that's what everybody else did. And battled back and forth, racked up a bunch of charges, went back to prison once for a violation. Got out, used a couple more times, 6 months, a year, probably 2 years total. Out of them 2 years, I spent a year of it in jail, back in jail.
Yeah.
Now, I spent my whole juvenile in juvie hall, and then my whole adult in prison, and so
It's like by the time you're 25, you spent more time in jail than you did out of jail.
Right, yeah. So
Okay.
I never really had a real life, you
Right.
know what I mean? And so I'm still learning. obviously.
Nice.
But at some point, it was, June 8th of 2015, that I decided, I'm really missing a lot in life. My parents are getting older, everybody around me is dying from drug overdoses and whatnot. And just hadn't really seen a whole lot in life. I did, but in a short period of time. I kind of grew up fast. So with that being said, I chose that I would never use drugs again. Well, during that time, I thought, well, I cannot use drugs, but I can sell them because that's what I'm great at,
Yeah, of course.
And I
What
did.
could go wrong?
Yeah, what
Yeah.
could go wrong?
I did. And between then and 2018, I racked up, dozens and dozens of more crimes, even though they didn't really, have me on most of them, but they had suspicion and they constantly raided my houses and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I went back to prison. By the grace of God, I was able to go to boot camp, which I was told that I'd never go to because I was...
Boot camp's something that can shorten your sentence and get you out sooner.
Yep, CIP.
Okay.
So, and to be honest, CIP really did save my life. It did knock 5 years off my sentence, and I understand why a lot of people do it for that reason. But the 4 years I spent in prison leading up to being able to go to boot camp, which I had to fight really hard because they were denying me because I had an accessory to homicide. They told me I'd never go, blah, blah, blah. I had a whole team of lawyers help me out with it, and I did eventually get to go. And it was probably the greatest experience of my life, to be honest. I went to Togo, up by Canada, and majority of my time was spent working, which was one thing that I always loved. I think that most
Like
of my-
physical work types? Yep, okay.
So we chopped wood, chopped, split, and bundled wood and gave it to the park reserves for Minnesota and Canada.
Nice.
So we actually chopped over 200 cords of wood in 6 months, which is pretty
Chopped, that's crazy.
No, chopped,
Yeah.
split. So we cut the logs, split them, and bundled them in 6 months, which is like unheard of. But it was really great. We had a great, it wasn't just me, obviously. There was,
Yeah,
you know,
real
whole
quick,
squad.
whatever Nick went through made him such a humble person. I love him. I love them. Thank you, Nick, for being you.
Thank you.
Just from one of the listeners.
Thank
Don't go far. What are you looking for?
Just checking it out.
Chicken
This
is
not
oh.
on.
So Nick, then
Not
you,
on.
you finally go through this. You get out. This is as a host. I fast forward stuff. So you make it through all this shit, this life that you've been going through, and then where's your first taste of recovery? Was it at Grace, or where was like?
No.
I mean, after this last, when you're out this last time.
So the last time, so here's, I gotta
Go ahead,
back.
go
I
ahead,
gotta
go
rewind
ahead.
a little bit. So growing up, my whole family being addicts, I remember when I was a little kid, like 5 years old, 6 years old, my mom used to take me to the Blaine Alleno, all of the places that she went. She was an alcoholic. She still is an alcoholic, but she's working on it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And for years, so I grew up around a bunch of recovery. I just didn't accept it because I thought my way was right. I mean, what
Yeah.
young man or woman doesn't think that their way is better than everybody else's.
Mm-hmm.
But so I think that always it was distilled in me that there, recovery was possible and that there is a better life. I just like to party, I enjoyed partying more. I didn't really value life, to be honest. I was told since first grade that I wouldn't live to see 18, you know what I
Right.
mean? 'Cause I really
I've heard that before.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we all kind of went through that kind of phase in life, and or the majority of us addicts went through some pretty rough times. But like I said, yeah, it did a lot. I did come here quite a few times, mostly because I was talked into it, but I did really love the experience, you know what I mean? And I do love what Paul does for us, and it is a great feeling to come in here, not just as a newcomer, but somebody, I have 8 years sober myself, so.
Nice.
I love my buttons, dude.
I do too.
Buttons
And,
are the shit.
You're stupid.
Every day I just try to remind myself that, the things that I went through, I had to go through in order to become who I am today, And I wasn't always a good person, and I'm sure that you'll meet plenty of people that would be like, yeah, that dude was-
He wasn't a good person. Nick, there's one story I want to ask you about. If you're not comfortable talking about it, we won't. But I don't know if it's someone in this room that told me or Dustin or something. But there was something about taxes and casino winnings and something like some crazy ass numbers about when you're out like getting it in, selling dope or something. Like, what was that story? What you know what I'm asking about, right?
Yeah.
Like out of the blue, IRS is like, hey, bro. All right, tell us real quick about that, and then we're gonna move on to this next guest that hopped in the house.
All right.
Yeah, I love this.
Basically,
And how you dealt with it.
between 2015
Have you heard this, Paul?
and 2018, obviously I was selling drugs. I wasn't using drugs, so I had a lot of money. I spent insane amount of money at the casinos. Every night. So to keep me out of jail, I spent every night at one of the casinos, regardless. So as soon as I got done making my rounds around the state or in Wisconsin,
Selling dope,
whatever,
after selling dope, yep.
right, I went to the casino to wash my money, basically.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because I knew that if they come and check me, I don't want to have serial numbers and
Well, yeah, yeah.
match up. So anyways, I went there. I literally spend, 10, 20 grand every day. And I didn't think about it at the time. I'm a pretty smart guy. I'm clear-headed. I'm
Right.
sober at the time, but I'm like, what are they going to do, Every time that they came, I had legitimate money. They always had to give it back. I had casino winnings, W-2s that proved it. So, they're giving back 50 grand at a time going, well, he has proof that.
Yes, too. They're mad.
Right.
They're like, this
They were very
motherfucker.
mad, and it was very stupid and childish. But I became
Yes.
a competitive gambler, is what it was. Spent way too much money.
We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, so they said that I owed them back taxes on $1.3 million. Or 2.3, something like that. They said that I owed them, they said that I owed them $200,000 in back taxes for not paying taxes. And, they gave me, so I called them, obviously I called the IRS and I asked them, I said, well, what do I do, because I didn't win any of this money. I don't have
Right.
$1.3 million or any insane amounts of money like that laying around, it's not a real deal. And he's like, well, this is what you can do. We need dates, times, places, who you gambled with, how much money you came with, and how much money you left with, and what type of gambling did you do? Were you betting on horses? Were you slot machines? Were you playing cards?
They work with
For
you.
every single day that I went to the casino. Well, over a 3-year span, I spent every single day at the casino, at a different casino.
That's like 1,000 days.
Right, you know what I mean? So, and sometimes even like 2 or 3 casinos in a
Right.
night, you know what I mean? Because depending where I was, I'd go from Treasure Island to Mystic to Fortune Bay up by, God knows where, So anyways, I did it, and I did, most of the time, so fortunate enough, I didn't really hang out with anyone when I
Right.
did this kind of stuff, because what kind of criminal commits crimes with other people?
Right,
That's just
right,
the way
right,
it's telling. So, so I pretty much went through and I sent it all in. Well, no, wait. So they waited 5 years. What, till when did I get the letter? 2022? Yeah, so 22. So from 2015, they waited all the way till 2022, till I get out of prison, to send me a letter to tell them that I owe them all this money.
Because when you're in prison, though, they can't hit you on back taxes.
Oh, they
I'm thinking of child support then
yeah,
or something.
No, well, yeah, they might.
I don't know. It doesn't
you
matter.
can get a hold
So,
on it.
All right, so
I
yeah.
don't think you can, you're not a US citizen.
Yeah,
Is that
basically.
right? When you're in prison?
Yeah, you're not.
When you get
Yeah,
out,
you're-
they send you a letter saying
Yeah.
your citizenship has been restored.
Right, yeah.
You can
Civil.
vote.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, so then they send it to you after
That
you get
law
out.
changed too, by the way, just so you know. It did change. They just
We
changed it.
stay being lawyers in these rooms.
My
I love
parole
it.
officer did give it to me the other day and made me sign in saying that, like, that's not a thing you can vote as a felon now, or on parole and all these things, and you are still.
So we're talking, you've got multiple years of recovery and you still deal with legal stuff. You still have to address some legal stuff.
Sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. Not.
Like you're on
from, like,
administrative
that.
type,
Yeah.
like low, yeah.
So, what was I saying?
You were just telling me how you ended up wrapping up this 200 stacks that you didn't have to pay.
Right. They waited later on, and they send me this thing, and they tell me that I owe them all this money, and I'm like trying to get my life together, and I'm in the midst of like crashing. I finally got a good job. I'm like paying
Right.
taxes. I'm doing the things I'm supposed to do. And all of a sudden they're like, by the way, your life just turned upside down.
Yeah.
And I tried pleading with them, and they don't care. It's
No,
like,
they'll put you in
IRS,
prison, yeah.
yeah. So
That's
I'm like, dude, I
Wesley
just,
Snipes, like,
you know, I
yeah.
explained my story to them too. I'm like, I just got out of prison, and I'm trying to do right. I don't know, like, I don't have any money. You
Right.
know, I'm barely making it, and whatever. So I did it, and they sent me back a letter, and they told me that I owed them $700.
From 200 to 200,000 to $700.
Yeah. So
You paid that pretty quick, right?
Yeah, I paid them their money, and you know, by the grace of God. I mean, I don't.
By the grace of
I'm
God.
not gonna say that I got over on them because I don't feel that I did. I think no matter what, they got over.
I think you hit on the head with the
Right.
grace of God. Like,
Right.
listen,
But-
you're out here doing some
Right.
good stuff.
But
You
it
get-
was a
yeah,
blessing,
yeah.
And I was blessed, and that's all that I can say. I mean, I'm not proud of any of it. It was really dumb, and you know, looking at them numbers and actually having to go through and calculate
How
all
much
of it
money,
was
yeah.
pretty sad.
Sad,
you know,
yeah,
to
it's
me.
sad.
And I'm just, you know, every day I am blessed to have not spent the rest of my life in prison because that's where I was heading.
Right.
And, you know, the whole reason that I wrap my legal stuff up with the state is because next thing you know, I got U.S. Marshals sitting in on my court hearing saying, drop the case and we're picking him up. He's going away forever, you know. So,
But
because
like,
I just was like on this crime spree.
yeah, no, and you were,
Fuck the
like you
law,
said,
know.
you're heading down a path. And I
Right.
think Paul said, though, like today, like, we don't shut the door on our past.
No.
Or we don't, like, our past doesn't define who you are, but it's exactly what you don't.
regret the past.
Yeah, you don't regret the. I was trying to run the whole thing. The
I think I've heard
promises.
that before. Where have I heard that?
Nine
Yeah.
promises. So, but no, it's like some guy the other day said, "It's like we watch we live our life and fast forward without looking at the reverse." I wrote it down. It's whatever. But yeah, no, our past doesn't define who we are, but we definitely have to remember it and learn from it and not try to repeat the mistakes. Like people hopped on here like. Curtis, my brother, a lot of people are reaching out and like they appreciate you and Samantha and what you guys are doing and showing up and like grateful you hopped on to tell some of your story and I'm thankful for you. Will you come back on?
Yeah, he will.
Did you hear the boss?
Yeah, he will.
What are you grateful for, Nick?
I'm grateful for many things. I'm grateful for being able to be present in life today and be able to enjoy life and actually, you know, despite all the craziness that goes on with life, not really have true regrets. I mean, there's obviously things that I'm ashamed of or whatever, but I don't necessarily regret them because I wouldn't be who I am or where I am today. I'm grateful for the beautiful woman that I have in my life, and I'm grateful for, you know, all the great community I have
Smile.
around me and seeing all the people that are prospering and all the people that I touch their lives too, that some of them may not even, you know, I may not even recognize that I've touched somebody in their
Yeah.
life. Is
Showing up is sometimes all it takes.
Yeah, so.
Well, shit, you don't have to give it. You two can hop back and forth because now
Hold on,
we got.
I just gotta say one thing really quick
Yeah,
that
go
I forgot
ahead.
to say. Excuse me, babe.
I'm surprised she didn't pick you up and move
Oh,
you.
you're kicking me out?
Yeah, just for a second.
Dude, pull up another chair.
Yeah, there
Boom,
you
right
go.
next to you.
gotta go.
So,
You
So
can
I-
turn on that AC. It is getting chill or warm, but
so I did want to say, when we were talking about Change Place, I forgot to mention we are opening quite a few more houses,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm currently seeking a house manager for our St. Paul location. So if you are in recovery and you're looking for that next step, we do offer free rent. There's a multitude of other things that come with it. If you're interested, reach out to me. I'm on Facebook. My phone number is plastered on the back of my vehicle, so.
and you know what? I will have her type her number in right now if she want. Are you want me to put your number on there? All right, and also Nick, we do have some other people. Like we are grateful for Nick and Sam. I have known Nick for like 30 years. He's the little bug brother of the group. So proud of you. Listen, like Sam put the control freak away. I think that would
Curtis,
be you.
I knew it was gonna be you, Curtis.
Is that girl's house or is that a girl's house or a guy's? That's women's. The house.
It's a man's house.
That's a man's house you're looking for. A man or a woman.
That is a men's house, Jess. You already know where you're gonna be the house manager.
Manager material right here. All right. So, hey, sexy buns.
Testing! Yay!
Look at this guy. Oh, it's not my buns. All right, so here, hang on, Smith. You're good to type right now. Hey, who are you?
You got me on mute.
I got you on mute. Good job, buddy. Who are you?
Not a whole lot.
Where are you coming from?
What was I? Monticello.
What's in Monticello?
A co-worker that is very new to riding motorcycle, and I just figured I'd go ride with him for a little bit.
Nice.
Well, that's like nice of you. So, Rob, I've had you on the show maybe once, maybe twice.
Yeah, maybe.
How's life been going for you, buddy?
It's been going excellent, man.
Shit, I was on mute, bro. How's life been going for you, buddy?
It's been going excellent.
What have you been doing for your recovery?
I went to an out-of-state convention last week,
In,
Florida.
Florida.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
It was really cool. I got punked up by some ducks.
I want to hear, did they have a disease?
All right.
Turkey.
It was a duck, right?
No, I thought they had herpes on their face, bro.
I got pictures. I never posted the pictures of the actual duck on Facebook, right? So I'm running alongside the beach, or running alongside the ocean. That was my plan. I was like, I can't wait to feel that spiritual experience and run by the ocean. It was great. I ran in the sand, right in the ocean, basically. Like my shoes got wet and everything. So I'm getting done, and I didn't have any water in the car. So I go to this gas station, right, and I pull up. And there's the no parking area that's right next to there's usually the one slot, and then there's the area with the lines through that you can park.
Yep.
Well, there's a car parked there, and then there's like 4 ducks in the parking spot, and I was like, I looked at it, and I was like, I wonder if this guy got punked out of his spot because those ducks are mean. Because I never seen them before. We don't have them up here like that.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
They were ugly.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't really know what these ducks are about, right? So like I pulled up in the spot, man, and these ducks start making their way towards me, and I'm starting to look down, and I'm like, I don't know, man, are they mean? I don't fucking know, you know what I'm saying? So all I know from the ducks up here is that they're mean, so I go to, I'll show you the picture in a minute here, but so I go to open the door, and the one starts peeking his head in the door, and I'm like, man, these motherfuckers are about to go, because I look behind him, and the other 2 are just standing there looking at me, and I'm like, oh, they're about to go, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, maybe 2 of them I might have a chance, but 4, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? So I pull out, I'm like, fine, man, fuck it, I'm gonna go park over here. I go park on the other side, and I'm kind of walking in, kind of with my back towards the door, looking at it, like, I don't know what these things do, you know what I'm saying? And I go up in there, man, and they're like, hey, I was like, what are those? They're like, something that starts with an M, like some kind of duck, right?
Like, not a mallard, but they're a duck.
It wasn't a mallard.
Yeah,
I saw
no.
the picture.
No,
They look like they had like herpes or something, like boils on
yeah,
their
it looked
face.
pretty bad. Yeah, it looked like but so I was like, are they mean? And they're like, no, they're not. Dude was like, are you from up north? I was like, yeah, I'm from Minnesota. He's like, yeah, I'm from Wisconsin. They're not mean like the ducks up there. He's like, actually, they just want some food. So they're like, here you go. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, cool. So they gave me like.
So he knew there were no Canadian.
So
yeah,
right. So this lady's telling me, she's like, yeah, the one's really ballsy. He'll come up and like eat it right out of your hand.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Larry. That's the one that was Larry. That was
Like the regular?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because ever since he was a little duck. What do they call those?
Duckling?
Duckling, yeah, I couldn't even think of it. So yeah, like ever since he was a duckling, like they fed him, right? So like I get out of the convenience store, and I got that piece of bread in my hand. This duck's just following me, man. So I was like, I gotta get my phone. This is cool,
right?
You know what I mean? And that's when I started that Facebook Live video of feeding the ducks.
That was
scared the
awesome.
shit out of me. It started flapping his wings. I was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was really cool. I got motorboated. That was different.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
Like someone put their.
by a woman.
She put her face between your chest and went blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Was she good looking?
She's in the program. Yeah.
That doesn't
you know
answer. Oh, okay. All right. So
we're just friends and all that, but I thought it was a friendly gesture. I appreciated it.
So we went from
Yeah.
boil-faced ducks to motorboating you. Wow. How did we make that jump, dude?
I don't know, man. That's just what I do. Let's see. What else did I do, man? I went to the beach.
What was the convention like? Like, was it just 3 speakers and a high five?
No, I only went to one. I spent a lot of time at the gym, and my friends kind of called me, and they were like, bro, like, there's a convention going on.
But you went down there for vacation to catch a meeting.
Yeah, it was basically I went down there for vacation.
And to catch a meeting.
Well, you know what's crazy is that, like, all right, so, like, up here, everybody knows me, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I go to
Speaking of that, let me real quick read something. Rob, you're literally are literally essential in the Minneapolis recovery community. I hope you know this.
Who's that?
someone listening.
Oh, well, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, yeah.
This is the pedestal guy. I told you he just hates this pedestal talk.
Yeah, I don't, because like I said, I've done things that I used to judge people for, so, but I know I appreciate that comment very much. But as I was gonna say, like up here, everybody knows me. I go to Minac, they're like, what's up? You know, I got this new sponsee this year, and he's like, dude, you're like famous. And I'm like, yeah, I just went to a lot of meetings because I'm fucking nuts. You know what I'm saying? And but like down there, it's different because I don't know anybody. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So there goes that newcomer me that used to sit in the back and stare at everybody.
Is that what it was like?
Yeah, that's what it felt like, man. All of a sudden my anxiety was going again, and I'm like, you know, like my arms are starting to go out a little bit, you know what I mean? And I'm like kind of like looking
Bird
around.
caging.
Because I don't know anybody, you know what I'm saying? I don't know anybody down there. So, it's
So
like,
wait, I want to dissect this. So what, you got on like the defensive?
No,
I
it wasn't like I was when I first got here, but
But it was anxiety
I could
filled?
feel it. Yeah, I could feel it in my spirit, you know what I'm saying?
How'd you get through that?
I went to the gym, like a cycle.
Serious? Like you got up and left and...
Yeah, no. Well, when I did that, it was I more or less filled my time with just kind of talking with the people I came with. But so the funny thing is that like people say Minnesota nice. Like I gotta say, man, it's Florida nice, man. Like people were so nice to me down there. They're like, I never got so many compliments on my tattoos in my life. You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, I love your tattoos, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's.
You were in Florida, right?
Yeah, I was in Florida.
Yeah, there's a big difference between Florida and Minnesota.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But
You're
like-
accepted more.
Right. Yeah. It was just well, because they say Minnesota nice, man. And I really
No,
think
I
it was
get it.
Florida
That was
nice.
awkward.
But so it was funny because like I was at the gym, and these dudes they were going pretty ham. You know what I'm saying? And like the dude like grabbed my bar. You know, like I had all my stuff there, and like dude's a fucking dickhead. You know what I mean?
You just grabbed it from when you're in the middle of working out?
No, not in the middle of it, but like I had my water bottle by it. I had everything by it. Like if you looked at it, you'd know that that was my shit. You know, and I was using it. But like they just grabbed it, right? So like I'm all in my head and shit and this and that. And I'm like, man, these motherfuckers, man. You know, and I tried to strike a conversation. It was almost like they cold shouldered me, right? And I was like, so you guys live around here? He's like, yeah, we're from Miami. You know, and then he just looked away and just started, yeah, come on, do your set. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what a fucking asshole. You know?
Really?
And this is what I'm thinking. So like 20 minutes later, he's like, oh, excuse me. And then all of a sudden he was like, nice, right? So I go to the convention, and dude's like, hey, what's up, man? I seen you at the gym, and I was like, oh shit, yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was just, and that just goes to show like how like you
These
can
rooms.
get in your own head, right? You know what I mean? Because the dude was actually a super nice dude. You know what I mean? But he was just in the middle of a set, and I understand that because that's what I do too. If I'm going, I really don't want to stop and have a conversation. But I was just trying to be friendly. You know what I mean? So like, it was a honest, it was a trip.
My last time entering recovery, Rob was the first person I ever heard speak, and that was at Will Work for Recovery. Even though he looks like an asshole, when he speaks, it comes from the heart. I love this man.
Oh, I love you too.
Yeah, Rob.
Who am I talking to?
Multiple people,
Whatever, I love you
man.
anyways.
Multiple people.
It's
So
cool.
Florida was a great experience, all in all, or just you only went to one speaker for
I
the
only went to
convention?
one speaker, and it was really funny because he talked about relationships, and anybody that knows me knows that I've really struggled with those in my recovery, and it's kind of been a big topic for me, and something that I stress to my my sponsees and whatnot, because it could be the end of you, and that's why I share about that. But it was really funny about how like he said he was like, it's funny how they tell us not to get in a relationship for the first year. He's like, but when I was in active addiction, he's like, I'd jump over 10 naked women for a cotton shot.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah, that shit had me dying, man. I was laughing my ass off, man. So I only went to one speaker when I was down there, but I did run into some people that lived down there that were from here that recognized me. You know?
Oh, really?
So yeah, that was kind of cool. Like I kind of recognized her. I mean, but I was just like,
She didn't motorboat you, did she?
no, it would have been nice though. She was very pretty, but no, she. That's why I didn't recognize her. I was like, what? Because she's like, you look familiar. Like, hi, and I'm looking behind me, and I'm like, who are you talking to? And I'm like, oh, me. Oh, okay, cool. Hi, how you doing? She's like, you don't remember me? I'm like, no, not really. And she's like, oh, I'm Heather, and I moved down here with my husband, and so.
So then
we talked for a little bit, and then Joe Jack was down there.
Joe Jack.
Yeah, whatever, if you're listening. So everybody left except for like on the last day, right? So everybody else's flight was delayed, and so they didn't leave till 2 o'clock, right? And so I was like, let's go have some of this. Let's go have some of this buffet because they had a very good breakfast buffet, man. This
At the hotel, or
fancy. It was fancy, man. Like I'm telling you, it was fancy. Even though I was running around like a psycho and I went everywhere,
Yeah.
I still took a little bit of time to sit by the pool and look at the palm trees, man, and be like,
You took
this,
it in.
This is where it's at right now, and I'm sitting right here, right now, at this specific moment.
present.
And I'm like really grateful for everything that brought me up to that specific moment, because everything that happened in my life brought me to that moment. You know what I mean? So, so I'm eating at the buffet, me and Brock, right? And where I have an omelet made, and I go set my food down, and I go back in to eat my omelet, and I come back, or to grab my omelet, and it's not ready yet. So I come back out, and this bird's eating my food, and I'm like, bro, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? I get up there, and I'm like, come on, man, come on, you know? And it flies away, man. So then I made my other Facebook video, you know, of the birds. The birds, yeah, they were just flying around like, we're waiting, bro. You know what I mean?
Were they gulls? Were they seagulls?
No.
They were usually the ghetto birds that just steal your food.
But it was kind of great because you know, a friend of mine posted on Facebook that like it could be a sign of joy. What was it? New beginnings, prosperity, stuff like that. And I was like, well, there's probably some truth to that.
It's like seeing cardinals. Like
Right.
there's talk about a lot of that stuff. And I know, like, we spoke earlier about some faith stuff and spirituality. Like, that's been taking a bigger front seat for me lately with
Right.
things that have happened.
Right. That you just can't deny. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause it's
I
like,
took no. Listen, I've said this a lot, and this was before this accident. It's like I took actions I didn't believe in,
To
but
get results
God,
I couldn't deny,
that
yeah.
I just couldn't deny. Like,
Yep.
and like I was telling you, like there's so many things I can look back now on, life altering stuff that could have killed me, or
should have.
legal
Yeah.
things that should have had me not
Absolutely.
here anymore.
Yep.
Someone else stepped in. There was something else that was there for me, and it wasn't like, for a long time I said, like, I know there's a higher power and it's not me.
Yeah.
I was okay with that.
Yeah.
We just shared at a meeting, and on Thursday I went to the first day I started going to meetings. I've been going to the 6:30 meetings here in the morning, but not meetings where I know a lot of people. Thursday I went to 4 meetings that day. Started here at Woolwork. Then I went to a noon meeting, then a 6:30 meeting, and then an 8 o'clock meeting. Every single meeting, the topic was God.
Imagine that.
Every meeting, and like, there's some stuff about this recovery stuff. I don't know. I don't need to get into all that. So, Robert,
Yes.
what's in the future for Rob? What do you got? Any big plans coming up? What's going on? How's work? Blah, blah, blah. We're just zipping through it because you've been
What?
on 9 times.
What are my plans?
Yeah, you got big plans coming up? You buying a house? You getting married? You having kids?
Whoa.
Firing
man,
sponsors?
whoa.
Firing for sponsees?
I
What's
did
up?
fire a sponsor now that you bring it up.
Oh,
My
I-
first one ever. Thanks for reminding me.
Man.
Yeah, I failed as a sponsor. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. We just weren't clicking, and I don't know. I was on my motorcycle when he had called, and he kind of got an attitude with me, and I said, "Look, I'm just done. You know, I'm just done. I don't." Because I was on my bike, dude. Like, sorry. You know.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I don't know. You know, but the thing is that, like, you know, maybe you just need somebody that's, you know, going to answer the phone every time that he calls, and that's just not me. Like, I don't. You know, and that used to offend me when I was younger, like when people didn't answer the phone. So I understand.
No,
you know, I get it.
yeah.
There's no animosity, but I was just like, you know what, man, like, I'm just done.
Right.
You know, because like there's going to be a point where like I am going to get angry, and I don't want to get angry.
We shake
You know?
hands and part ways.
Yeah.
Love that.
I don't need it anymore.
You know what you're capable of, and you know what you improve.
Yeah, I just don't want it. I don't want anger. I don't want any of that stuff in my heart anymore. Like, it's just nope. I gotta go. You
And
know?
a lot of this has changed for you since what or why?
Obviously, you know, my walk with Jesus, following
Amen.
God. You know what
Speak
I'm
on
saying?
it.
Really.
Because that's, I think, like, you've got quite a few years, but it hasn't been like this in all those years.
No, it was right around year 6. And if you're listening, I hope it doesn't take you this long to have an experience like that.
Right.
I do truly pray that like it comes quicker to you, you know, because number one, I'm stubborn, you know, so I think that has a lot to do with it, you know. But no, it's God has definitely opened my eyes and in my heart in ways that like I just can't deny, and like and everybody that's close with me is like, dude, like something changed.
100%.
Yeah, I know, man. Like you know,
My self-awareness is, I gotta get him on the show. Gotta get him on the show. I need him to tell his story.
Yeah, right.
But we all saw it.
Yeah.
Your attitude, bro. Your bike got stolen literally days later, and you're like, "Nah, it was supposed to happen."
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
like
Yeah,
that's your answer. Your bike
Both
got.
times.
Yeah, both times.
Matter of
yeah.
fact, the second time there was some heat that
Well,
you were
it's
ready.
like, really again?
Yeah, but like a lot of things changed in your life and your outlook on things and your attitude.
Well,
Period.
you know, one thing that I really, want to say is that, like, I don't want anger anymore. I don't want resentment anymore. There's no room for it in my heart, and ever since that I've lived like that and felt like that, my life has been better. And when people do some fuck shit, because people will definitely do some fuck shit, I don't have to respond the way that I used to. It's just like, okay, cool. Well, that's where you're at. That's all good. You know what I mean? Like, that, I don't gotta let it affect me anymore. It used to actually keep me away from the rooms. Like, I wouldn't go to meetings because I got so sick of certain people doing certain things. Well, and my understanding is this: like if you go to meetings and you consider yourself a real person, and let's say you're around a bunch of that fuck shit, and then all of a sudden you're like, all right, I'm not going to meetings because of that. Well, what happens when a real person comes into recovery and he's looking around the room and all he or she sees is a bunch of fake people?
Right.
All they're going to see is, oh, it's a bunch of fake people. So if you consider yourself a real one, don't let that steer you out of the rooms, because you're not there for them, you're there for you.
Well, and this is a big thing happened when I think we're on the other side over here at Will Work at the 5 o'clock meeting. And I don't even think this person's in recovery no more, but this is why I say, like, there's a reading called Don't Shoot the Messenger on one of the 24-hour days. And it basically means, like, you might get a message from any angle. Like, just, it might come from that guy you fucking hate.
Usually it does.
Every time he opens his mouth.
And that's where the help comes from, too.
And
You
this,
say that over and over.
and it happened. Like, one of the best things I heard, and it just, I don't know why, I heard it so many times, but it stuck. He's like, you're not responsible for the way they think about you. It's, and it goes both ways. Like, I can't let Rob's life dictate. I can't let I can't let someone else dictate.
Dictate.
It's a weird I can't let his life determine my recovery.
Yeah.
I can't remain caring about what Paul's doing. I can't let that justify what I'm going to do in my recovery. So it's my recovery, not yours.
There's something else I wanted to bring up too. So yesterday, it's kind of funny. So, like, if anybody really struggles in their head a lot like I do, and basically everybody I know, because we're all kind of fucking nuts, right?
Absolutely.
But the thing is, like, we really don't know the impact we're having on other people. Like, yeah, I can come to this podcast and I can read this stuff, and, like, yeah, no, I take it in and I appreciate it and I believe it. But a lot of times I don't see that, right? So I'm at the meeting last night and I'm sharing, and, like, we go out for fellowship and we get ice cream. And I say in the meetings, I'm like, hey, if you're broke and you're new and you're,
Okay, hey, and if you're new, I'll hold you to that.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, thank you so much for coming on. You owe me a what are you grateful for?
Thanks for having us.
Oh, wait, what'd you say?
Thanks for having us.
Samantha, you owe me a what are you grateful for? You don't have to do it now.
I'm gonna do it right
All right, what are you grateful for, Sam? And you're going to finish what you're talking about.
I am grateful for the fact that me and my bestie coming in the next year here.
Bestie,
Bestie.
right there.
We're actually going to be opening our own sober houses, so stay tuned.
Nice.
What? Dropping heat bombs on
the
everyone.
bombs on them.
I'm grateful for you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks, Nick, for opening up with us.
Sorry,
We
sure.
appreciate it. Can't wait till the next time you're
A
on.
little smooch for me, of course. I didn't even know you had a camera here, bro. I was like, wait a minute,
This is the new thing.
Yeah.
That's only one of ours.
That's only one. I got two in the corners.
It freaks me out.
Thank you for being here. Thanks, brother.
30, it's going down. Yeah, I didn't. Now you got.
No, I won't have you losing it. So the other night, go ahead. You
Okay,
can,
so we go out for fellowship and get ice cream. And one of the things I say is that, like, hey, if you're new and you're broke and you don't know, I'll buy you ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, like a lot of times newcomers that come to meetings, they're in treatment, they don't have money, and they're worried about, like, a $5-10 Tops ice cream cone. I got you.
Right.
If there's 5 of you, $50, big deal. I got you. You know how much money I spend getting people high in one sitting?
Yeah.
A lot more than $50.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
And I don't mind. It's just I like fellowship. I think that's what the program is about for me. Like,
Right.
that was a big part of me staying clean and staying. So we go to this fellowship, man, and I buy these people some ice cream, right? And one of them, he sits down and he's like, "Hey, man, you make me want to stay sober."
Nice.
And I was just, I was like, that was like probably some of the coolest shit I've heard in a long time. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, I don't know what it is about me that makes you want to stay sober, right? I'm like, okay, if you only knew about the shit that was going on in my head, but we're not going to talk about that. Like, the fact of the matter is, like, we don't really see what others see. You know what I'm saying? And like a lot of times we can get in our own way, in our own head about thinking this or that. And like, like one of my biggest problems is that, like, the obsession and compulsion of this disease is still current in my life. and like, and it doesn't matter about if it's working out or if it's women or if it's food or any of that. Like it could just be my thoughts. Like I obsess and I obsess and I obsess. Like sometimes to the point where it actually makes me sick. Like I get sick to my stomach and I want to puke and like and it sucks. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's something about myself that I really want to change, but for some reason, like it's still prevalent in my life, and that's the disease of addiction for me, is the obsession and the compulsion. So like when I get fixated on a certain thought, like I'll seriously obsess about it for like 2 days. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and I know that I'm doing it as I'm doing it, and I don't want to do it as I'm doing it, but I still keep doing it anyways. That's the disease right there.
That's
you know
the
what
disease.
I mean? And it's still prevalent in my life, and it just the only difference is I'm not putting dope in my system. That's all. So like to be honest, that makes it harder. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it. I get it.
Man, like, could you just stop for a little bit and like just focus on the little things? You know what I'm saying? Like the good things. Like there's so many good things in life.
But like that's what Sam came on and started sharing about right away. It's like she found herself slipping away from the rooms.
Yeah.
But you're doing exactly what this program has taught me. It's like you're putting it out there. You're speaking about it.
Absolutely.
One way or the other. And I think also when Krebs was on the show, like I was nervous about doing SNL, so I asked him, I was like, if you had to speak in front of a bunch of people, he's like pick a topic. And what he ended up doing was talking about the newcomer.
Yeah.
Like, and he brought that up. He's like, I think that is important. For me, I'm an outgoing person. I don't care. And the early recovery, when I came here, I didn't need someone to come make me feel comfortable. This place did that for me. But some other people don't get that when they only go to
Not me, man.
other
I
clubs.
was so uncomfortable when I first got clean.
I was just going to say, we try to make people uncomfortable, man.
Yeah.
But that's where, I mean, this isn't a, I don't want to call it other Alanos though. What I'm saying is like, this isn't your regular room with a table in it and chairs around it with blank walls with just 12-step posters on it. This ain't that. This is somewhere where I came in and I got comfortable.
I get it.
That's me. I got comfortable. I'm familiar. I got leather couches. I got neon shit. It's busy. My brain was busy as shit. I needed that. But like you were saying, like a newcomer, I think you see that guy uncomfortable. He's new. You ask him fellowship, and they might say no. You tell him, explain to him how fun it can be.
Right. Well, the thing
And
is,
like,
too,
I got you. Let me pay for you.
I think without the fellowship, man,
I wouldn't be there. I wouldn't still came.
Because that's the thing that COVID messed up about the program. It all of a sudden stopped. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I still try to, on my Thursday nights meeting, I'm like, let's go get ice cream.
Yeah, you guys
Even
do
on the
that
business
stuff.
meeting,
Yeah.
I'm like, we're going to get ice cream. I'm not going. You know what I mean? Vote me out. I don't care. We're going to get ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. Like I love that shit. You know what I mean? Like that's where the bond comes for me.
Yeah.
Like you can go to the rooms and you can sit in there and you can quote the literature because you've read it 9,200 times, and you can sit there and talk about how spiritual you are and all this and that. I mean, a lot of people are full of shit, but which I've been full of shit too. So, but
and I
like
get
after
it,
the meeting is when you can get personable with somebody.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what's going on in my life. This is what I'm struggling with. You know what I mean? My sponsor's got 19 years and he struggles just like us. So it's
right.
I mean, because that's just the truth, man. Like recovery is hard.
Yeah.
Especially for me, it is. It's fucking hard.
Is it harder than life was before recovery for you?
Fuck yeah, it is.
Really?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Because I wasn't conscious of life. I wasn't conscious of life. I had one objective, bro, and that was to get high.
Yeah, and it was
That's it.
For me, that was a hassle. But that's why
now it's like. Okay, well, am I maintaining my personal relationships? Am I maintaining my professional career? Am I maintaining my work sleep, nutrition?
You mean responsibilities?
Yeah, responsibilities and all these other things like that. That like I got to juggle that I never did. So it's like just being conscious of all.
I see that shit as like
so many things.
I see it as I get tos now.
But yeah,
I changed that shit. We had this butt thing earlier on the phone.
Yeah.
No,
because you don't listen. That's why.
No, I see it differently.
Of course.
We can see shit differently. That doesn't make one of us wrong. I'm telling you.
Hey, you know what? Everything after butt is bullshit.
That's what I mean.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's you trying to prove a point, not you. I'm just saying. Like when I say but all right now this. Put it this way, for me personally, this is my shit.
Well, you asked me though, didn't you?
Yeah, and then I'm gonna rebut with saying.
Wait, what was that?
No, that's one word.
Rebut?
No, rebut.
Yeah,
Rebuttal.
Yeah.
For me, it was different. The reason I got into recovery was because that grind got so tiring.
I understand.
hold up.
I know. I understand why, like you said, because it was hard. Active addiction was fucking hard.
That's
But
why I got it.
the reason I say that recovery is harder is because the conscience.
Right.
All like
This is what I was gonna say, something that I was listening to Rob, it's just the awareness that he has of his lifestyle, anything like that, all this stuff that he's well aware of now, is the blessing of this program, like you said.
Absolutely.
I walked
Yeah.
around unaware of anything other than, how do I get higher?
Right.
How do I get more money?
That was simple.
That's what I was aware of, you know,
Right,
and now
exactly.
I'm aware of like, man, you know, I gotta take care of this. I
Don't
gotta
run
do
that
this.
red light,
Don't run that red light,
You know what I mean?
this stuff.
right.
I think that's so cool. Listening to you all the time is like all this stuff that you're so well aware of now.
Yeah.
Because I was the same way. I was unconscious to
Right.
half the shit I was.
Well, yeah, that was the
Right.
joy of dope.
Yeah.
For me,
Right.
Yeah.
I was just sharing about that because of all the pain shit. Like, I know what I can do to just forget about it.
Yeah.
But that ends up, for me, for me, it ends up being too much work.
Oh,
That became too much work. So I guess I see it different. I just see shit differently. Like, to me, this isn't as hard. For me, this recovery life is so much easier than that dope grind. For
The
me.
life itself is, yes.
And like we talk about, I miss the lifestyle. There's certain things in early recovery I missed that old lifestyle. There was things I missed. But when people say why'd you quit, like usually people have that bottom they hit. I can't put my finger on it except for saying the simple. My thing is just I just was so tired of it. I don't know. It just got so old.
Same spot.
Get him, Rob. Fuck you, Jack. Fuck you, Jack. He feels bad about calling you an asshole earlier.
I want to share something, a little something.
Yes, about time.
Like I said,
Speak on it.
Well, I was just listening to Rob. It was a lot of the stuff, and I really want to share a fact that I remember when Rob first came in on the other side and giving rides home. This stuff I'll never forget, and it just floors me still to this day. Is like I remember you giving everybody damn near a ride home.
Yeah,
it's like okay, I'm going to bring these guys home, and I'm coming back to get these guys, and I would just be like going, wow, dude.
Yeah.
It's like I said, and you were saying, it's not the profound shit we say, it's not the shit we memorize and this, that, it's the profound shit we're doing.
Program of
And you
action.
were doing that, whether you like it or not, and I know you weren't really digging it all the time, but it was
No.
like, this is what I need to do.
You had your breather too,
You know what's
didn't
cool
you?
is that like I did. I had a breath.
I love giving people rides
I
home
just-
with my
yeah.
breather.
But the cool
I love
thing
it.
was is that like I gave so many people rides that like I honestly forgot a lot of them, right? So like people will come up to me and they're like, hey man, like you used to give me rides home all the time and like you were really struggling at one point and I know that you were, you know what I mean? And like and it was like, dude, I just pour my shit out of them, you know, like, oh man, I'm hurting, you know what I'm saying?
Some
Like,
strangers
but they
there.
were like, you know, that you taught me to be vulnerable. You know, and it was like, oh, thanks. You know, like now that I'm on the other side of things and I feel better about things and like, you know, like spiritually, like I feel great. You know, like I'm able to like, these things are coming back to me. And it's like, even though I felt like I was struggling for so long that like there really was some growth in that. And
But you're aware of it.
I
Like
needed to
Paul
go
said,
through
you're
what I went
aware of
through
it.
in order to get to where I am.
Well, yeah, that's how this
know?
works.
And I knew that shit, but going through it sucks.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I
look
mean?
at how you're able to recognize that shit right now. You just said it. Like, someone's telling you about how you showed them how to get vulnerable. Like, you're aware of that shit.
So another thing I wanted to mention too, right? So some spiritual stuff, right? So as some of you know, actually not a lot of you know, my best friend Lee, when I first got clean, he overdosed
Yep.
beginning of COVID. You know, and I still think about him quite a bit, you know, and he was, you know, we were in the same small group at New Way. We hung out every day, all day. I got him a job. We worked together, you know, and he was there for me in early recovery when I was really going through some stuff. But if it wouldn't have been for him, I would have went and got some heroin and I'd be dead, right? We moved in together. We had a place, and you know, he met a girl and he kind of went the other way, and I kind of went the other way. And you know, he ended up overdosing on heroin beginning of COVID. And so there's a song that's from Tom Walker. It's called "Leave the Light On," and they played it at Minac this year. It brings me to tears every time I hear it because I think about my friend. And so I get down there. I get down to Florida, you know, and I got this rental car, and man, I'm on top of the world, you know, and I was like, man, I'm gonna play this song and I'm gonna talk to my friend, you know, because like I miss him, you know what I'm saying? So like I'm playing this song, man, and like the tears start to flow, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking about my friend, and I'm like, man, I miss you, you know, and so I look over, right, and guess what county I was in? Lee County.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And it was like, man, like that was so God, like just showing like, hey man, I'm still here with you. You know what I mean? And like a lot of the reason I still like #1 do Phoenix is because of him, because in his memory, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because like he was only 26 when he died, you know what I'm saying? Like, like there's so much more to life after that, you know what I mean? Like I didn't even get clean till I was 31.
And that's just, them things are not coincidences.
No, absolutely
Those are-
not.
That's the heavy stuff.
Yeah,
Telling you,
man.
wow.
Yeah, I was like, wow, like that. Yeah, it was something. You know what I mean? It was.
There's no denying it.
No, absolutely, man. And it was just like, you know what? I was like, God's with me on this trip, man.
Right on.
And I had so much fun. Like, even though, like, I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off, and everybody wanted to go some places. I'm like, let's go.
Let's do it.
Like, let's go. Like, I had like, I think there was like.
You had the rental car, right?
Yeah, I had a rental car. How many women did I have in the car? I had like all the chicks wanted to go to the beach. I was like, let's go.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? Let's go. And then we went to.
What kind of car did you have?
It was a GMC Acadia.
It was a SUV.
Yeah, they had a third row seat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they were filled.
I didn't even notice it until Sarah said something. She's like, "You got like a car full of ladies right now." I was like, "Oh, I do, huh?" You know what I mean? And one of my friends called me that's incarcerated right now when I was down there, man. And I was thinking about like how grateful I am for this life because like he can't go anywhere. He can only go maybe 20 feet.
He has no freedom, bro.
I'm states away. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's the freedom that we get to enjoy from this program.
I think about shit like with your pops. You get to be there for him when he's going through the health stuff.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah.
Like if I was whatever. So no, that's blessed stuff. So Paul, is there any big moves coming up in the center that we want to talk about, or do we want to wait until Carolyn's on before we talk about some other stuff? Because I'm talking probably in 2-3 weeks, you guys are both gonna be back on.
Yeah, we can talk about some big moves because there are.
I know,
There's
yeah.
some very big moves coming. There's lots of stuff going on.
I know Sunday we got the big deal going on up at Wild Mountain in 2 days, and not tomorrow, but Sunday, right?
Yeah. We got a great open house coming the 23rd of September. That's going to be big.
Huge.
Danny B is going to be playing live music. We're going to have the parking lot full, man. It's going to be fun. We got a really good events coordinators on deck that are going to put some things together. And like I said, man, I'm just staying out of the way.
Let me say this as a guy being kind of getting more involved with will work on the different levels than just showing up for meetings and drinking your pops. This place has a board. I had a few of the members on, and we're going to get more of them on, but they're very supportive. They want to see this place grow. They've all got some great experience in like all aspects of being part of a center like this that can help it grow. And the ones that don't have that type of background are superstars, like Gracie. I had her on, like they're so thirsty to watch this place grow. It's awesome to see that stuff here. Well, then that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna I'm not gonna lock it down on air right now, but you and Carolyn will come back on at the first chance.
Absolutely.
Because I know you're leaving town here soon, or not. I don't know. I thought that. Rob, are you leaving town soon?
Am I?
Yeah, that's you're leaving town.
No.
Okay. Oh, you just got back in town.
Yeah, I got back.
Whatever. I just took a dude. I just took a big whack to the head.
I would like to go out of town again.
Yeah,
soon.
I got a spare bike if you need. I've never used this show to sell motorcycles, but guess what, guys? I got an owe it now. But so what we're gonna do is get wrapping up here. We've been going for almost 2 hours, and yeah, I think it worked out. We're using a hotspot off my phone, which is garbage, and
Good work, didn't it?
yeah, I don't think we lost volume one time for like 10 seconds. Beginning, Jake said that it was a little scratchy, but I appreciate everyone's patience out there. And just like I was saying earlier, is if you're struggling, if there's some shit going on, like we just talked about, We'll Work for Recovery has minimum 2 meetings a day, if not 3 or 4 sometimes. There's always some events going on down here. Like we have a mission statement here at We'll Work for Recovery. It's to restore hope to those in recovery. One step at a time, one day at a time, one life at a time. So We'll Work for Recovery. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're on 2520 North 2nd Street here in Minneapolis. It's suite number 2. You can't miss us if you come on down on any of the days. It's 6:30 in the morning throughout the week, 7 o'clock every night. We've got events all the time going on. And like I said, this show, a couple of you asked about it. Hell yeah, come on. You come be on the show. I put my number on the little crawler on the bottom. If you have ideas for the show, you want to see us talking about one topic or the other, or have specific guests on, or see the show do something, you got ideas for it. This ain't my show. This is my Friday night meeting. This is your guys' show. So I need suggestions. That's how I got to where I'm at today. And Curtis, I'd love to have you on. Any one of you guys, any girl, guy who's on here, come be on the show or come check it out. I'm in here with 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 couches, 1 sectional, and 4 recliners, 2 electric recliners. There's spots to come just check out the show. That's what
Yeah,
this.
it sure would be nice to get some people in here.
Yeah. I think it was last minute because that first show we had like 17 people, 18 people in here, and most of them hopped on for a few minutes. But because of my little accident, we didn't know when I was gonna we just made the first announcement 2 days ago that, hey, we're gonna do the show this week. So it'll be a little different next week. We'll have more people in here, but come on down to the center, check it out.
A couple of things
Yeah,
I just want
yeah,
to share
definitely.
too is, the theme for September 23rd is Our Stories Have Power. And one of my favorite things I like to say around here is that everybody has a voice. It's valid and it's important. So come on down and spread the love.
Hell yeah. There's another thing I wanted to tell you guys about is that we do a re-entry program here. We work for recovery and re-entry. It's a community-based approach to recovery throughout classes that provide vital information, peer support, resources, and cognitive adjustment needed to do something different. We got a computer room here with like 15 computers. We got a guy who comes in who's an expert at this stuff and like gives his time to help us out, and it's a great program. So come on down, check that out. Like I said, this is a resource center. It's so many things.
This stuff will be getting started in September, so come on down, get signed
Yeah,
up.
definitely.
It's a great course. The guy that teaches you is a great kid.
Yeah. Bottom line is if your recovery doesn't come first,
Everything you love will come last.
Nice.
oh yeah. Boys, let's talk about
Right on.
some gratitude and then get out of here. Robbie, tell us about your gratitude.
Why do I always struggle with this one?
I always wait for our NA guys to be like, my gratitude speaks.
When I care and when I share with others. I'm grateful I don't have to get up tomorrow and go to work.
That's a good one.
Oh, great one.
Man,
Nailed it.
I am straight up bottom line grateful for Carolyn for putting up with me and making this stuff happen. I couldn't do it without her. She's a piece, man. And I'm also grateful for conscience, like I said. Never had one.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? You gotta give it a little love. I'm grateful for people that showed up. And my girl Jess, like, she was there for me. I was gonna die, and she was there for me. And so were some friends in this program that showed up and checked in on me. And I'm grateful for my girl Jess, big time, and my family. I always say my mom and shit, but
Mom.
Jess really showed up on this one. And
Mommy.
like, I don't know how things are gonna turn out. Fuck, I'm being told now, like, hey, you're minimum a year before you're gonna get a paycheck because of the way insurance is with motorcycle accidents. You don't get paid until there's a settlement. I'll get reimbursed for lost wages, but we're talking minimum a year to 18 months before something's gonna happen, and who knows what kind of permanent damage there is. I might be walking around with a limpy leg looking like Dustin or
I
my.
don't think we're supposed to know what's going to happen.
No, we're not, but what I'm
That's why we
saying,
live one day at a time.
you know how easy it is to get in your head worried about that when you know bills are coming? I'm just saying, it's easier said than
So that
done.
butthole, Timmy.
You don't want to even know what I'll tell you after this show. But my girl was like, you know what, Tim, we'll figure it out. I've never had someone in my life that meant that shit when they said, don't worry,
She's supposed to be
we'll,
there at that specific time.
we will figure this out. She didn't say, you'll get it, you'll handle it. She said, we'll figure this out. I'm like, shit, made me cry.
That's your angel.
You know what? I love everyone who checked in tonight. Love you guys.
Much love and respect. Adios.
Deuces.
Deuces. Yes, till next week, same time,
Deuces,
same
he
bad
says.
place. So I heard